It's been over 2 months since Josh was convicted of receiving and possessing. While Josh's imprisonment is obviously cause for celebration, the situation remains almost unfathomably tragic in a number of different ways. The many victims of Josh's lifetime of predatory behavior were forced to relive their trauma during the investigation and trial, which unfolded over the course of 2 years. Josh's office was raided by federal agents in November of 2019, and it wasn't until December of 2021 that he was convicted. Throughout his trial, Josh was out on bail, and the judge's decision to release him from jail even on a temporary basis was not a popular one. The court attempted to address the public's fears by placing restrictions on the parolee's freedom. Josh would not be allowed to live with his wife and children during his trial, and was not to spend time in the presence of any children who were not his own. But it seems that he violated that latter restriction, and not surprisingly, his friends and family turned to a blind eye to Josh's disregard for the rules set in place by the court. During his final months as a free man, Josh lived with the Rebbers, a family who offered to house him, seemingly as a favor to Jim Bob. At first, there was tremendous confusion as to why the Reber family would take on such an onerous task, especially after someone in the house called 911 on Josh's first night living in their home. The situation came to make more sense, however, after the public learned of a strong connection between the Duggar and Reber families. The house Josh resided in during his trial was owned by Maria and LeCount Reber, whose daughter, Hannah, was engaged to David Keller, the brother of Josh's wife, Anna. Hannah was reportedly opposed to the idea of sharing a house with Josh, and unfortunately, women in the Duggars' Independent Baptist community are forced to live with their parents until they get married, but Josh attended Hannah and David's wedding regardless. Photos taken at the wedding, which took place on November 19th, confirm that Josh was in attendance along with his wife and children. The kids who are standing closest to Josh in the photo above are his own children, so that's not a violation of the terms of his bail. But as you can see, there are several other kids in the pic, several of whom are not related to Josh. That seems like a clear violation of Josh's parole, but it might not be. It's possible that Josh received special permission from his parole officer to attend an event where minors would be present. But even if that's the case, clearly, Josh's friends and family should have simply encouraged him to stay home, rather than mar his brother-in-law's wedding with this near violation of the law. Of course, the Duggars have been enabling Josh and making excuses for him for his entire life. We were naive to think that that would change simply because he had been arrested by federal agents.